Well, good morning to you, Lagos. Good morning, world. We're broadcasting on YouTube, Voice of the People Television, and this is VOP This Morning. A beautiful Friday. You know how it is every Friday. You do the work, and then you have some fun. But we'll start the fun right here on the show. So get ready, as we'll be taking you into some very interesting stories. We have our radar on some stories this morning. One of them is about the protest in Kano and the allegation that political interest made it worse. Oh, well, we'll talk about this one in the course of the program. I am Moses Humphrey. Welcome on board.
And I'm Fina Okechukwu. We're talking about the breakfast show on Voice of the People TV this morning. Moses have actually told us the things we have on the radar, but it's also interesting to note that Dele Momodu also made a statement. He said, Tinubu has been surrounded by liars. His aides grumble behind him. Anyway, if you're interested in this juicy conversation, all you have to do is to join us.
You have to be interested.
As we move.
You have to be interested.
Exactly, you have to be interested. Because, believe me, the show is a wonderful one that promises also to be super interesting.
It's a beautiful Friday morning. David Edwin saying, good morning, world, good morning, Africa, good morning, Nigeria. Wherever you're seeing or watching us from, we bid you welcome to the show. It's an amazing Friday, and we urge you to stay with us all through the conversation and let your voice be heard, because with us, you have more than a voice. So how do you do that? Go straight to our comment section. Yes, on YouTube, we are at Voice of the People TV, and on all other social media platforms, we are at VOP TV Live. So let's have this conversation. And most interestingly, you would be calling us today, and let's also hear your views. The numbers will be scrolling on the screen, and we urge you to lend your voice as well, because like I said earlier, with us, you have more than a voice. So we're going to take a very quick short break. When we return, we'll be diving straight to the front pages of the national dailies. Let's dive into it and let's see what we have on that. Stay with us today.
From the views on the street,
we go to bed empty hunger,
to the blaring horns of a hustling city, the loudest voices of the common man got a medium to be heard.
this particular administration, they were coming unprepared.
It's not a bad thing to renovate the president's lodge.
Through top-notch programming, unbiased reportage of news, sports, business, entertainment, and cultural documentaries, Voice of the People 90.3 FM became a symbol for 21st century media. And now, a new baby is born. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV, youthful, full of vigor and penchant for excellence in the continent's media space, exposing the wrongs, applauding the rights, dissecting the news without fear or favor, through factual and accurate stories and contents.
Corruption kills three things that makes a society.
Representing the interests of the people and giving them a voice. Voice of the People TV is here to stay towards building a fair society. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television, truly a voice for the people. Health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being of an individual. It's the fundamental right of everyone to enjoy the highest attainable standard of health, without distinction of race, religion, or political belief. On VOP TV, we bring you Health Check, a show that x-rays different health issues and provides solutions with the help of experts in the medical field. Join us every Tuesday from 2:30 on Health Check. Health Check on VOP TV. Your health, our priority. Good morning. It's the start of a beautiful day. Well, start your day right with a healthy dose of news, fun, and inspiration. Join us on VOP This Morning. for the latest news, trending topics, and uplifting stories to set your day on the right vibe. From news and current events to lifestyle and entertainment, you are covered. Showing from 7 to 9 a.m. Monday through Friday on VOP TV. VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
Thank you for staying with us. It's still VOP this morning on Voice of the People television. We'll have to move straight down to analyzing the front pages of the national dailies this morning. And we have before us the Daily Trust, the Daily Independent, and the Punch. We also have the Vanguard and the Guardian. So if time will actually permit us, we'll have to x-ray through these national dailies. I would like to start this morning with the Daily Independent. But before that, I want you to know that we have with us in the studio already Barrister Darlington Agumo, who is a lawyer, like I said, barrister, and also political analyst. Good to have you this morning, Barrister.
Good morning.
Thank God it's Friday, right?
Yeah, thank God it's Friday, and thank God the protest is over.
No, this is the day 9 of the protest. It's not really over.
We're in a morning period now.
Exactly.
Moses.
Barrister.
Yeah.
Good morning to you, Barrister.
Morning. And David.
Morning, sir.
Thank God it's another Friday.
Yeah,
Sir.
it is. All right, on the front page of the National, the Daily Independent this morning, the banner headline there reads, #End Bad Governance Protest. Condemnation trails raid on NLC Secretariat by security operatives. Let me take that again. Condemnation trails raid on NLC Secretariat by security operatives. I will have the writers to be Amnesty International says attack on civic space to intimidate union. Action, attack on rights of Nigerians, threat to democracy, and that is coming from TUC. We did not carry out any operation at NLC Secretariat, and that's DSS talking or putting on or chiming in their voice on that. And above the nameplate, we have other headlines to be presidential speech. Purported 573 billion naira disbursement to states predates Tinubu's government. Presidential speech. Purported 573 billion naira disbursement to states predates Tinubu's government. And right beside that, Dangote refinery supplies will disrupt Europe's oil and gas industry, and this is coming from OPEC. It's more like that talk about Dangote and the refinery is not really going to die down anytime soon. And we have other headlines to be, Eric Air resumed services 8 days after operations were grounded. You can get it on page 7 of the Daily Independent. Lagos explosion not linked to NGML and NIPCO CNG stations. Lagos explosion not linked to NGML and NIPCO CNG stations. That is coming from NMPC. And we have the rider to that headline to be 10 vehicles burnt, 9 persons injured, 2-story buildings damaged. You can get it on page 7 of the Daily Independent. And we have a pictorial where we have the president and handing over, something the defense chief. Okay, 20 dies as cargo boat exploded, sink in Bayelsa waterways. Tinubu government adopting propaganda misinformation as state policy. And this is coming from Atiku Abubakar. Okay, court restates PDP Damagun from conducting Congress in Benue. The writer to that story. Party suspends Soswam, Segba, others. Another bold headline on the front page of the Daily Independent newspaper this morning. Tinubu directs security agencies to crack down on illegal miners. And we have on the bottom strip the headline there to be, again, CBN boosts FX market with $876 million, commits to provide liquidity. You can get that story on the page 7 of the Daily Independent newspaper. Barrister Darlington, I took a particular headline, and I could hear you, giggle kind of to that headline.
The one that baffled me is the
presidential speech.
Yes, and the denial about NLC secretariat. I think NLC should have learned a lesson with what happened to them. Because I remember during the protest, they distanced themselves from it. They were talking of dialogue and all that. And all of a sudden, this thing now happened to them. So I don't know how they will explain it. Then this 73 billion naira that was bandied about. Remember in Tinubu's speech last Sunday, I think, he made mention of it, how they have given states, they have shared the 517 billion naira. So if this money was before Tinubu came into office, why did he mention it as part of his achievement? Can somebody explain that to the Nigerians? My dear, we're in a very big mess, seriously. Very, very big mess. The lie is just, I don't know how to explain it. Can you just imagine? Something that happened under Buhari, they are now claiming it is their making. Because since that thing was said, no state governor had come up to say, yes, we received or we did not receive. Everybody just kept mum. Remember that was how they told us that they gave states 30 billion naira the other time. It was only Makinde who disowned that and said, no, they did not receive any 30 billion naira. So what is all this thing?
We seem to be getting a lot of, propaganda from this administration.
In fact,
don't you think so?
And tomorrow they will blame you people, the press. They will say the press misquoted them, that the Nigerian press are not responsible, that they always want to hit up the politics. Who is causing all this problem now? Who is causing this misinformation now? And all these security agents, they will not talk. I just don't know why this government is in. That is because you have nothing to tell the people. If you have done something reasonable and something, laudable, you don't need to even to talk. People will see it. It's the people that will praising you. But because they have nothing to offer, they now reduce themselves to propaganda machinery.
So, Barrister, at this point, what would you say is the reason why state governments and state governors as well are not debunking this statement?
Because of they want to be in the good book of Tinubu. What else? Is there any other thing? You want them to say that Tinubu is lying? Hold on. You want them to come and tell you that the president is lying? No, it's not possible. Nah, but it's good. His own aides are now the one fighting themselves to debunk what the other one have said. This other one will debunk it. I thank God it's coming from his own office. Yes, now. That's why I told you that evil can never hide for too long. One day it will show up.
Okay.
All right. I was also going to ask if you can chime into this headline, the bottom strip that states, again, CBN boosts FS markets with $873 million. 76 million dollars. Commits to providing liquidity. At this point, again, we have to use money to shove up money.
In fact, is that the first time we are doing this? Moses, please answer me. Is this the first time we are doing this?
Well, it's not. It's not.
So, is this
wonders how long
is this
are we going to
sustainable?
continue doing this?
Is this sustainable? You can see, at times, it looks as if you are criticizing the government because you can't help but say it. Is it that they don't know what they are doing? Let them call us fast now to help them. That's what we are saying. You have been doing this repeatedly. Every time you go and borrow money and put into money. At the end of the day, nothing to show for it. After 2 or 3 days, you start looking for money again. How long? And this is the government that is promising you paradise. Oh. This is why I keep telling people, don't hope on nothing. There's no renewed hope here. Everything people promise you, it has to do with money. And since there is no money, how can he now fulfill those promises? It's not possible. You can't make empty promises when you know you don't have any money. That's why these things are happening. So each time they say I just snub them because I know it's not possible. They are just doing it just to placate the people, just to, assuage them so that they will not be, blowing hot and
But we've been borrowing money from this present administration to the tune of 30, trillion naira. Isn't it money again that we have? Because the other day we heard that the $1.5 billion that a World Bank, map out to give, that Nigeria have been able to get 700 and something million naira from that particular loan. Don't we really have money?
That is what we should be asking this government, because if I want to do every minor thing, we go and borrow money.
And just yesterday, the National Assembly is 500.
I see some other interesting headlines from the Vanguard newspaper. So let's go to the Vanguard now. The Vanguard has its banner headline: Atiku, Obi, CSOs, others fume over raid of NLC HQ by security agents. We're still shocked by invasion, NLC. ITUC, TUC demand investigation. IGP must fish out the armed invaders. Falana. Raid. Sign of Tinubu's disregard for democracy. Adeyanju. All right, so we're talking about the raid now. There is denial going on. There are accusations flying around as well. And then, you want to say something?
Why would there be denial, Moses? So, is this spirit that came for that operation?
One starts to wonder.
And they were masked.
That's another. One starts to wonder.
And they were masked.
That's another thing.
Another one.
They were
That's
masked.
another thing.
That is it. You see what is going on under our democracy. Why would you be hiding your face if you come for a legitimate search or warrant of arrest? Must you mask your face? That means you came for an illegal operation. And now we don't know who came. It's not us. Then who? Who?
And when security agents err like this, who do you run to prosecute them?
You go to court. You go to court. But the thing now is that whom are you going to prosecute? Because the DSS said they are not the one. Police are saying they are not the one. So
you cannot identify just by staring at the eyeballs.
You can imagine. So invariably, NLC, Spirit raided your office, so you can take Spirit to court.
So what do you have to say, Barrister, with the fact that some security operatives will go on raids without a branded vehicle? And it happens in Nigeria, and no one is really saying something about that.
Even without warrant.
Oh, yes.
So, my dear, we are becoming a Hobbesian state of nature.
Oh, my. Okay,
yes, that's where we are going.
Some more headlines from the Vanguard still. Manufacturers incur 1.5 trillion naira forex losses in 6 months.
Oh, boy.
Edo Guba, 17 parties nominate only 55.6% of polling units, collation agents, INEC. African Human Rights Commission seeks probe of brutality of protesters, journalists. Road project, FG opens talks with Julius Berger. OPEC says Dangote refineries product supplies to disrupt Europe's oil and gas industry. Barrister, if you would say something to that one.
Why would they panic over Dangote's refinery? I don't know. These people that are after Dangote refinery, both within and outside, what is the problem? Did the Dangote stop them from producing or...
Doesn't this even speak to the fact that there are certain bodies that intend to keep Nigeria pauperized?
Yes, perpetually under their feet. They don't want... But let me tell you, Moses,
okay,
they are saying all this is because of the nature of your Nigerian state. If you have a strong leadership, these things will not happen. I'm telling you. We don't have a strong leadership that can go out there and look at all these people eyeball to eyeball and tell them to go to hell. We can't do it. No, we don't have a leader who can do that. That's why Dangote is now fighting his own battle. If we have a strong country, a strong leader, my dear, the government will point at those people doing those things. Look, give them a very serious one or take them to the United Nations. But do you have a leader who can do that? No. All of them have compromised. All of them are compromised. When the man was shouting that he had both within and outside mafia trying to put down his refinery, these are the reasons. And we don't have a government that will call these people to order, because the government also
call
is
their bluff,
complicit.
because we are getting loans from some of these.
I'm telling you.
These
I'm
people.
telling you. So these are issues. Even if you are getting loan and you are running a transparent government and you don't have any skeleton in your cupboard, you can still talk to them. After all, borrowing money is not a crime. But because they know you have compromised, if you talk too much, they will expose you. That's why nobody can talk to them. Nobody.
Unfortunately, so. All right. There's that pictorial there of the explosion on Obafemi Awolowo Way, a mobile filling station there. That happened yesterday morning. It was while gas was being transferred, and then there was a bust and that fire. In a video that trended on social media, I saw a young man, his hands from the elbow down to the fingers were completely discolored, burnt, and then his clothing burnt off his body. And there was this fear of possible gas explosions as we switch to CNG. But they've come out to say it has nothing to do with CNG terminals and all of that. But at this time that the government is throwing things around and denying things that we have heard government officials say, one starts to wonder if one can truly trust words from this administration, because they seem to be throwing a lot of propaganda. That even takes me to another strip here, the bottom strip. Let me quickly take that one. This one is credited to Atiku Abubakar. It says, protest. Tinubu has adopted propaganda as state policy.
Yes, that's to offer. You have nothing to offer. You resort to propaganda and lie just to deceive the people and then misinform them, so that they'll be thinking something else while you are doing something else. Is that what they are doing? It's unfortunate. You see this CNG, the problem it will cause is coming because we are not ready. I've said it from day one.
What problem do you pretend would happen pretty soon?
It's compressed gas.
Yes.
Good. If you check very well, your roads is going to be a very big problem for those buses. Because when they enter into a very big gallop, something may happen.
And because it's compressed, don't you think that will prevent it from,
that is the
random explosions?
No. That is the more reason why these things are going to happen. Because when you compress something, the possibility is that the possibility of explosion is there, especially when it is improperly used. 2, maintenance. Do you have it? All these things that they are telling you, they are going to have station here and there. But have they set up anyone? We are never prepared for anything. We only wait for the problem to happen before we start running around looking for solution. We are never prepared. The bus is not that bus. If I know Nigeria very well, they won't last a year before they start packing all of them.
And the buses have not arrived anyway.
And if they arrive, look at Lagos State Transport Lamata. The other one, their office at that Oshodi.
Yes.
If you are, what happened to that place where you have a Bajaj?
Okay. Yes.
Building there. Do you know that nobody is in that building? Are you aware? That is where they're supposed to do the terminal for that Lagos State LASTC or something. Where are those buses? Please, where are those buses? They just disappeared from the Nigerian Lagos road. No maintenance culture. No, you are not thinking of if this bus will spoil today, how are we going to keep it going?
Let's quickly touch on another headline here. I find referring to Tinubu, probe killings, calls for military intervention during protest. Gas development will drive Nigeria's prosperity, reduce cost of living. That's according to ICBO. All right, so these are the headlines from the Vanguard newspaper. And be aware that we have the number on your screen. That number is for you to call into the show and contribute your own quota. But as you do call in, you will be allowed to contribute within 1 minute. Nothing more than that.
Afenifere should be consistent. If they want to be relevant, they should be consistent in advising Tinubu and talking of national issues. Not selecting what they will say and what they will not is not good. When somebody threatened Tinubu's wife. I was seriously expecting the Southwest, especially leadership, to talk. But nobody said anything.
Don't you think that was because of her statement as a senator in 2022 against a particular tribe here in Lagos when he said that they are proven stubborn and they have to unleash everything possible on them for them actually to buy into the idea?
No, that one is different from what happened. This one is death.
Yeah.
The Southwest, is that lady not their daughter-in-law? They're supposed to protect her. And because nobody, that's why these people have the impunity to do what they are doing now. Because if these people have risen up and said, look, this threat and all that should stop. I remember when Obasanjo came into office, Obasanjo, that Nigeria will burn, that they will not accept this, and they are leaving Nigeria. A very serious threat. As at that time, nobody knew what was going on. Until Obasanjo came and said, please, that is safe and sound. That is how to call these people to order. But allowing them to be acting with impunity and arrogance, whatever they like, they do it and everybody here will keep quiet. It's not good. Then when it happens somewhere else, you now wake up and start talking. The other one that happened, why didn't you talk about it? Why didn't you talk?
It's interesting. All right, let's go to another daily. And right now we're looking at the Punch newspaper. Well, the banner headline here reads, Hunger Protest. Victims, families recount ordeals. Demand bailout. Then the rider states, Gombe, Kano traders, Castina churches count losses. Borno families relieve pains. Beside the nameplates there is a headline that reads, FG suspends a registration for 40,000 naira rise. Barrister, you want to react to that?
Oh my God, this is what doctors call dead on arrival. DOA, dead on arrival. That means the rice never come up. They have suspended it already. Did you remember all the hoopla that this rice generated? 40,000 naira bag of rice. People were wondering, where is the rice? Some states are even complaining that they have not seen their own truck. That means something you have not started, you have already suspended it.
Don't you think they perceived foul play and that was what led to the suspension?
No,
well, there is that allegation, but let's leave that one for the conversation.
Is that necessary?
Yes.
Look, okay. don't even go there. Which allegation? You're supposed to have made a contingency plan before you start telling us you have rights for us.
Okay.
You said it's for civil servants. Let them take it now. It's for them. If you buy your own and go and resell it, how is that the problem of the federal government? You have taken it now. If you carry it to Kotonu, go and sell it there. It doesn't concern us. Okay. Distribute the rice.
All right. Other headlines there above the nameplate there, and we're still looking at the Punch newspaper. NNPCL demands 4.7 trillion naira petrol imports refund. The rider, forensic audits of 2.6 trillion naira NNPCL subsidy claims still ongoing. And this is according to the FAC panel. Dangote refinery redesigned to process Nigerian crude. This is coming from the CEO. All right, there is a major pictorial there of the 87 regular recruits intake for military training, their inauguration in Kaduna. Other headlines beneath that pictorial, APC opposition clash over NLC secretariat's invasion. Vehicles burnt as gas explosion in Lagos filling station. Naira closes 1,596 naira to a dollar as forex inflow hits $25 billion. Well, these are the headlines right there at the front page of the Punch newspaper. And well, this is about where we have to draw the curtain on the newspaper review. We'll be diving straight to the conversation proper, and we would urge you to stay with us as we go straight into the major talking points. What are we talking about this morning? Well, you know already, federal government's political interests worsen protests in Kano State. Well, this is according to the coalition in Kano. But all of this we'll be talking about when we return after this very, very short break. Stay with us.
Nothing. All those ones are scam, like grammar.
That's scam.
Economic reform, people don't feel back up on Gary.
Of course, as it is now, the whole protest has been peaceful. The only challenge that we are having now is the instruments that they are supposed to set in the park. Suddenly somebody just came among the security personnel to come and lock that place up. But notwithstanding, everyone has been trying their best to ensure that it is peaceful. So for now, in Ojota, it's still peaceful, and every protester will make sure they make everything peaceful.
Thank you so much. So from a legal perspective, can you tell us some legal implications of protest?
Of course, protest is the right of everyone. According to Section 39 and Section 40, there's peaceful gathering. Section 39, Section 40 of the 1999 as amended. Everyone has that opportunity to gather peacefully. So for the people to come out to make protest, it is not against the Constitution.
Thank you so much. But can we get your view on the ongoing protest, man, at the moment? What are your agitations? What are the things the government should address? Today is day 5 of the protest. What are the things you feel the government should address?
Today is day 5, and we're here to hold a congress to respond to the president's broadcast yesterday. We think that the broadcast, his speech yesterday was underwhelming. We think that it was unreflective of the issues that have seen ordinary in the streets since August 1st. And we're here to say that if the president needs us to dialogue, the president needs to also show that he understands the issues.
So what assurance are you giving citizens, people that have come and people coming?
What assurance am I giving them, in what sense?
In the terms of the protest at the moment.
I don't think I understand who's going to, but as you can see, ordinary Nigerians are out here and they are demanding that the president addresses their concerns.
Thank you so much.
All right, welcome back. It's still VOP this morning on Voice of the People Television. And moving into the conversation proper. A coalition of 5 NGOs has accused the federal government of political interest that worsened the hashtag #EndBadGovernance protest in Kano. In a statement issued Thursday, they expressed concern that the strained relationship between the ruling party and the state government made the situation in Kano worse. The coalition, which includes Kano Concerned Citizens Initiative and 4 other organizations, stated that the nationwide protest didn't happen by chance. They criticized the government for failing to grasp the frustration driving the protest, focusing instead on the identity and leadership of the protesters rather than addressing the underlying issue. And this also happened as some individuals in Nigeria have also come up to say that the present administration is really not telling Nigerians the truth. We have the likes of Dele Momodu, who happens to be the PDP, once a PDP presidential candidate, also accusing appointees of this present administration of lying to Nigerians, whereby some of them will come up to say that things are okay, they are not the way it is, and Nigeria should stop pulling things above. But within or behind them, they're actually grumbling. And not just that, also, we have ADC presidential candidate, I'm talking about Ralph Mosu, also saying something about how this present administration happens to, be making Nigerians to pass through excruciating economic hardship. But we have with us in the studio, Barrister Darlington Agomo. And also, we just have joining us virtually Chukuma Okoro, who is a journalist and a public affairs analyst. And also in the studio, we have Mr. Lawal Ekundayo, an educationist, a farmer, and a political analyst, too, I wanted to say, and a public commentator. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning once again. Okay, Barrister. Now, we are looking at the effect of the protest, #EndBadGovernance. In Kano State, it took another dimension whereby, some people started looting offices that led to curfew. Also, it happened in Kaduna that led to some Nigerians waving a foreign flag in Nigeria, beckoning on a particular country to come help Nigerians. And Some other people in some other parts of the country also experience one or two suppression as regards why they shouldn't come up to protest in Nigeria. But now we have Kano Concerned Citizen, that's a KCN, accusing the federal government of having a hand in what happened in Kano State. And Mr. Lowell, I'd like to start with you. What do you really have to say as regards that particular statement?
Of course, because the presidency is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, the chief of staff, and every other thing. So he has this absolute power. You get it? He has the DSS in his control, the police, and everything. So there was due notice to the government that there will be protests. It didn't happen spontaneously that we say that the security operatives were caught unaware. They were duly informed. They were duly, told what is going to happen, the cause of the protest. In fact, the government met with some of them. The state government, the federal government, the state government, they met with some of them and everything. So any other thing that happened thereafter, the bulk lies before the government.
Are you saying that the federal government, as accused by this coalition, did not do well enough to have managed the situation to get into that level in Kano State and even some part of the northern states?
Yes. That's it.
So in your opinion, what were they supposed to do and even handle it better? How were they supposed to handle it better?
See, like the one that happened in this secretariat, in front of the Lagos State Secretariat, you see the police around, the police in front, you get it? They are there to maintain law and order. You get what I'm saying? They are there with order. In fact, the number of police there, the security operatives there, is more than almost equal to the number of protesters.
Were they there to maintain peace and order?
Because police, LNSC, the civil defense, all of them were there. So, you know where the protest, the moment and we have these helicopters, police helicopters moving around every now and then, not one, with drones, monitoring all the protesters. You get? So, this thing could have happened. You have police helicopters moving around. You would have been given information, we have so number of people here. The security will have to go more. We have to go there to maintain law and order. You get it? Okay. And they will not. This thing will not have happened.
All right then. Let's bring Chukwuma Okoro into the conversation now. Good morning to you once again.
Good morning, Moses.
All right. Now,
good morning, Moses.
I know we've talked about this. We've talked about this before, but it's still within the protest week. The protest is supposed to end on the 10th. Well, the organizers did say there might be an extension, but we don't know for sure if that will be. We're talking about this allegation by CSOs, civil society organizations within Kano State, blaming the government. Yes, Kano is not an APC state as it is, and some have said this government might be trying to create some sort of unrest in Kano so a state of emergency can be declared. That's an allegation being thrown around as well. I'd like to know what you think about that. But the fact that CSOs are coming out and a school of thought will say these people were nowhere to be found when the previous administration was in office and things weren't going well with those in the north. When development wasn't going around the north, they didn't come out to protest. They didn't say, look, it's because of your political interest or non-interest. That's why things are going the way they are going. Some are saying that these protests are coming because it's a non-northerner that is at the helm of affairs. What say ye?
Okay, thank you very much, Moses. You see, the issue is that we try to see everything within the realm of politics. We try to see everything within the realm of politics. The civil society organization that is pointing fingers at the federal government, it's difficult for me to locate it because I don't know the angle they are coming.
There are 5 of them. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah,
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, so I can understand that before the protest, there's been a problem in Kano State. You know, there's the royal struggle, you know, between the APC and the NMPP. Both parties are in struggle, and somehow the federal government managed to stay aloof graphically or peripherally from it. If they had, Moses, are you hearing me? Moses,
Yes.
can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you
Okay,
clearly.
because there's a disruption in the video.
Okay.
So
Sorry about
it's
that.
easy for me to understand. Like there's a struggle for the soul of Kano State between the APC and the NMPP. But I don't see how that should be how the federal government might have exacerbated the intense provocation in Kano State.
So don't you think political interest actually could be the reason for such thing to happen? Because the present governor of Kano State actually said that the security operatives in Kano were not even listening to him, even when he was giving out order as the executive governor of the state.
Fina, was it the federal government's political interest that caused the mayhem in Jigawa State? Was it the federal government's political interest that caused the problem in Kano, in Kaduna, the waving of flags? So we all know that the federal government has visible political interest in River State. Why wasn't the protest so intense? Why wasn't it destructive? So these are the questions around the conversation. I understand that there's a problem in Kano State between the between the APC and the NNPP. But what I'm finding it difficult to do is to put a finger on the role of the federal government in spiking the violence in Kano.
All right, Barrister.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Let's let it land.
You see, Moses did mention other things about, you know, how people are, okay, Fina, it was you that said, the ADC person has said, and Dele Momodu has said. You see, the problem is that when we make news, newsmakers and influencers, you know, they take the news off the hook. You don't need to travel far for the average citizen to tell you what Dele Momodu said, or what the ADC chieftain said, Mr. Mosu. It's in the open, it's pedestrian. We all know that the president's handlers are not doing a good job. They are still playing politics. They are still in campaign. They are not addressing the issues of the moment. Even the civil society organization said one thing, and in another breath, they even contradicted themselves. They alluded to the fact, too, that the federal government has not addressed the demands of the people. Yes, so it cuts across. It's a national thing. I don't see how they try to reduce the protest in Kano to federal government's interest. It's an overriding national concern. There is hunger in the land. People are angry, and everywhere is burning. Like Moses described it the other day, it's more like an uprising if it is not properly managed.
Okay, all right. Now, Barrister, when you look at the protest #EndBadGovernance, I think this is the first time in Nigeria where people will be saying they want to embark on protest, and courts will come out with a ruling to restrict them to a particular place. In Lagos, it actually happened. In River State also, they were expected to be at a pleasure park. But now, do you also share this line of thought with the Kano coalition of concerned people there that says that political interest actually worsened the protest in their state?
Of course, because before now, remember that there was a problem in Kano concerning the Emirates.
Right.
There was an issue before, struggle for power and all that. When Abba Yusuf sacked Bayero, the man quietly left. He moved out, according to the state governor's directive. Only for him to now come back, led by the police and the National Security Advisor people. They asked him to go back to Kano. What does that tell you? Just oppose it with when Sanusi was removed from office. He quietly left on his own. Even when he was supposed to go to court, he didn't bother. So the question anybody should be asking now is, why did the federal government interfere in what is purely a state matter. It is all about politics. They wanted somebody of their own who will be in Kano towards 2027. Because Bayero seems to be dancing towards the APC leadership in Asorok, while Sanusi is his own man. I don't think they can control Sanusi. That was just the only issue. And the Kano state government wanted somebody like Sanusi because injustice was done to him because he disagreed with Ganduje and the Buhari government. So these were the issues that was on ground before the NSAS started. I mean, bad governance started. So it snowballed into this other one. What I was expecting the federal government to do is, why can't they be neutral in this matter? You have a problem already which you started, and you are now adding another one into the matter. That was why the thing looked as if Kano was the hotbed. It's all about politics, because if you check very well, Kano is a swing state in the north. You see Kano, Kaduna, I think Katsina. These three states, they are swing states when it comes to electoral value. Any politician or any party would want to get Kano at all costs. In fact, it was Kano that gave Buhari his victory in 2015. Even though that victory is tainted with so many things. So they would want to get Kano because of their population. That is what is playing out there, nothing else.
Barrister, you did mention that you were expecting the federal government to be proactive as concerning these protests. And one would wonder, is the federal government led by the Tinubu administration practically on hand on the fact that several persons have come out to say that the presidency is shielded by people who they believe do not have a full knowledge of where they are. Now I'm talking about the Alain Dume accusation and of course the recent one by Dele Momodu. As it stands, is there the possibility that, okay, all right. So Barrister, at this point, do we say that the president does not fully have an understanding of the situation as it stands?
You don't need to be told. From this double standard and all that going on now, you should know that Tinubu is confused, heavily confused. And this confusion is his own making, because he told us that he prepared for this job for 30 years. And that he will replicate what he did in Lagos. And some of us are wondering, what did you do in Lagos? So you are going to Abuja now, or you replicate it now, you can see that the talk is very cheap. So whatever confusion Tinubu finds himself now, it is his own making, because he appointed all his aides. He claimed to know them. So why can't he control them?
All right.
If they are not the one controlling him, that means the essential Tinubu is a weak man ab initio. He was just packaged by Lagos Ibadan Press.
Oh well, there is another conversation that I think Dele Momodu dropped that comment that the president is those around him, his aides, they tell him one thing, they go behind him and they grumble because they understand that bad governance is what Nigerians are experiencing, but they can't say it to his face because they will not want to offend him. Does that sound like a weak man? Doesn't that sound like somebody who would react when offended?
Yes, because if he's not a weak man, I am telling you, he would have sacked all of them by now.
Okay.
I'm telling you, because of what is going on. They are even indicting themselves. Are they not in the same government that are claiming the bad governance? Are they not the one in that government? Donald Trump, I look,
in the PDP.
You and I remember what Donald Trump did when his Secretary of State was detailed to come to Kenya. That was during Donald Trump's first coming. The man was never to touch Nigeria, never to. But for reason based to Rex Tillerson, he came to Nigeria to say hello to people in Abuja. And as he was on air going back to America, Donald Trump sacked him. It was his staff that told him that, Oga, you don't lose your job. Oh. He was in the air. Donald Trump will sack him. That is a leader. Look at what has been going on. Right, let us say, yeah, Tinubu pretend as if
all right.
here.
Let's take another angle to it now. The president did start that speech. That Sunday is it the 4th now or the 3rd?
Yeah.
Sunday speech with "I hear you loud and clear," and then he reeled out a few things that his administration was doing. Just the day the protest was supposed to start. I'm coming to Chukwuma Okoro now, so please. The day before the protest was supposed to start, there was the news that civil servants will be able to purchase 50-kilogram bags of rice for 40,000 naira. We know that rice goes for about 85,000 naira, 90,000 naira in some places. And that circular was pushed out that civil servants can buy rice for 40,000 naira. Now, yesterday is the 8th.
Yeah.
The 8th day. Another circular, which is what we have on our screen right now, came out. Now, this one read, it's titled "Withdrawal of Internal Circular on Sale of Subsidized Rice to Public Servants." And it reads, "I am directed to refer to our internal circular in the Ministry of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs of 1st August 2024 on the above subject matter, and to inform you that the internal circular is hereby withdrawn. Further details will be communicated in due course. Please bring the contents of this internal circular to the attention of staff in your respective departments and units for their information and proper guidance." Now, when the initial circular came out, Nigerians were wondering, why do we have to go through such rigorous process, going to a Google form to fill a form because we want to buy rice for 40,000 naira? Now, this retracting came out yesterday. It was published yesterday. But it's dated 2nd of August. Mr. Chukwuma Okoro.
What is going on speaks to the larger confusion, the larger confusion that has enveloped this particular government. The operators are not only thoughtless, they are short-sighted. I don't know why they just reduce everything about us to civil servants, public servants.
The date discrepancy also.
Go ahead.
Sorry, Fina.
Go ahead.
Fina.
The date discrepancies with the publication, that particular memo is carrying 2nd of August, but it was just made known to Nigerians on the 8th of August, and it was on the 1st or on the 30th of July that the president says the rights to be given to civil servants at 40,000.
And then the circular was actually brought out on the 1st of August.
It's all part of the confusion.
So one starts to wonder, was it a propaganda in the first place to douse involvement during the protest? And if that be the case, should Nigerians take seriously the words of this administration, the words of the president?
Moses, I have said several things. I have said several things that are very instructive. The day they made public this issue of buying rice or giving out rice at 40 or 50,000 naira, I asked a question: where did the federal government bring this rice from? These bags of rice, where are they coming from? I asked that question. Nobody answered that question. Again, it is possible too that, look, it could have been used as a decoy, as a ploy, to dissuade people from engaging in the protest. But what is even more painful to me is the fact that they reduce everything about us to civil servants. We have a population of over 220 million people. When they talk about minimum wage, they're restricted to about less than 5 million of us who work in the federal and state civil service. Everything they talk about, it's just about civil servants, civil servants. And like I said, it speaks to the larger confusion and the directionlessness of this administration. What they need to do in the immediate, I have said it several times, a serious government will have long-term plan, long-term development plan. In between the long term, they build short term to close gaps. We have not seen that. So why are you now dishing out palliatives? You give state governments 2 billion naira, you give them grains of rice, and I kept asking, after consuming this rice, what next? Do we go back to the federal government to ask for more bags of rice? or more bags of grain or whatever. So it just tells you clearly that this government doesn't have a plan.
All right. Mr. Shukuma, I like the fact that you ended that statement with, your statement now with this particular words. Now, the question would be, at this point, you mentioned less than 5 million individuals are the civil servants. How many of these people have even gotten this bags of rice that is being rolled out by this administration? That's on one hand. So a few weeks ago, the Senate did come out to say that the Nigerian reserve for grains is being expanded to the barest minimum. Also, you did mention as well that there is no long-term plan as concerning this palliative that has been given out. Question now that I want to ask you is, do you see this government as a government that some quarters have said, the words of Atiku, a government that has taken propaganda as a policy? Or do you see any further developments coming from this government?
David, the point is that this government doesn't even know how to do propaganda. They don't know how to do propaganda. Which of their propaganda items has worked? None. Ab initio, it just tells you, if you put 2 and 2 together, it just tells you that there was no rice. There was no rice. Otherwise, they would have pushed it out. See, these things, when we discuss these things, we tend to lose generally sight of the fact that we operate in an economic environment. In an economic environment, what drives it is the concept of demand and supply. If this rice were available, that is, there was demand, there was supply, and it meets demand, the price will simply come down. There was no rice in the first place. And talking about propaganda again, you see, the people that are even supposed to handle the propaganda are busy scapegoating people. They are not even doing what they are supposed to do. Lai Mohammed was a bit of a better propagandist than whoever you have in this administration. Lai Mohammed was busy telling us about Kaduna Abuja rail line, even when it was not operational, but it was everywhere in the media. He was busy telling us about how federal government has done this and that, how many kilometers of roads that the federal government has built. Right. Probably they will build 1,000 kilometers and they say they have built 25,000. People were seeing snippets of those roads here and there. But this one, Bayo Ononuga is busy looking for who to blame. The information minister is not doing anything. The person in charge of national orientation is busy defending the policies of the APC instead of creating a value reorientation amongst Nigerians, which is his core mandate. Nigerians, how do we harness our internal values to help this government, to help build the nation? How do we patronize Nigerian-made goods? How do we talk about patriotism? And he's busy politicizing. They discovered that in the realm of propaganda, they are even lacking. They don't know how to do appropriate propaganda. If you look for, if they want good propaganda, they should go to their state, probably employ the handlers of Alex, because they are very good at that. If they tell you they have done 80%, go and check. They probably have done 30 or 35. And the thing is sinking in with the people. People tend to believe them.
Talking about propaganda now, Mr. Lawale Kundayo, just today in the front pages of the National Daily, one of the national dailies there we have today, it reads, there's a Daily Independent to be precise. We have a story that says presidential speech, purported 573 billion naira disbursement to states, I'm talking about the state we have now, predates Tinubu's government. That shows the presidential speech on the 573 billion naira that was being shared to states actually happened before the present administration coming into office. What do you really have to say about that?
See, I don't believe, because each time you talk about the share money to states, it irritates me. So I don't even want to talk about it, because I know it's virtually zero. It's one of the problems of this country. You say you disburse money to the states. You now tell the citizens to go and meet their governor. Does that make sense? We will now go to state, and people are going to the state house now to go and meet the government. You are complaining that they are protesting, they are damaging things. Are you not the one creating the problem, for God's sake? You get what I'm saying? You said you increase allocations to the state. You now told the citizens of the state to go and meet their government, the governors. Right. And these people are now going to meet their governors in 10 days, and then the police are shooting and killing people. Is it not what you told them to do?
But isn't that a way of bringing the government close to the people now?
No, you don't bring. See,
we have given these people this money for adequate running of your particular state. So go meet your governors for them to tell you what they are doing with your allocations.
If you want to go and meet the governor, is it not through protest? Is it not one of the? Is it not protest? Protest is not one of the reasons you go and meet your government. You get what I'm saying? That how do you spend this money? You tell us, because we don't have an account of it. Now you are now complaining that the people some oppositions are instigating the people against your government. Is it not a double standard? It doesn't make sense.
Talking about money too, we have the 5 billion naira that the federal government said that was shared also to state government, but we have the likes of Sheyi Makinde coming up to say they've not really, did not get.
See, that's what I'm saying. That it's just the federal government is. That's why I put the buck on the doors of the presidency. The federal government is what creating all these problems that we have in the nation.
How do you mean?
Because, like I said earlier on, when you disburse money to the state, you increase allocation to state. You tell the citizens that you have increased allocation to the state. They should go and meet their governors. And how will the people meet their governor if not through protest? And they want to protest. You are now turning to the opposition. That is the opposition that wants to disrupt your government. Are you not the one telling the people to go and meet the governors? And the people want to go and meet the governor, you are now blaming opposition. Are you not the one who told them?
Is protest the only way to meet the government?
No. See,
you could write to the office of the government.
Great. Do you remember the one they did? The Northerners did. I think about this. The Kogi State governor and some others. The people actually wrote they wrote to EFCC. The EFCC didn't take action. You get it?
But I'm talking about writing to the governors.
No. What I'm saying that's a governor now. That's a governor.
No, they wrote to EFCC to take action against the
because they saw what the governor did. You get it? So they had to write to the appropriate quarter, and the government didn't take action. So these people must be on air, and so many places they must have been speaking to the governor, and the governor was not doing anything. That's why they had to come out and protest. So what I'm saying is that it is the government that is, telling the people to go. You are the ones blaming the opposition. Because when you are disbursing money to states, why are you telling the people, for God's sake? If the governor is not doing what's supposed to do, we have the appropriate agencies to handle that case, and you hear that, maybe 3, 4, 5 governors have been, fingered or been in prosecution has been started on so and so. Just like we are saying now that the government is the presidency is surrounded with liars. You get it? That shield the president from
reality.
Reality. That is a lie.
Well, that in itself is a lie.
It's a lie. You know why? Because even before the protest started, the people gave warning, and many governors called them. The president even called them to have it. Even called the head. He called traditional leaders. So he has been properly briefed.
You're talking about people giving notice and talking about those around the government not telling him the truth. But you know that this administration did not perceive the protest as coming from a place of hunger that the people are going through. They perceive the protest as a political agenda to discredit the administration. Don't you think that's what they are reacting to?
You mean the government?
Yes, the federal government.
See, the federal government, the people who form the federal government, I'm not talking about the presidency only. I'm talking about the Senate, the judiciary, the reps. I'm combining all of them together as one. You get these people who are signing all the monies and making all these laws. They represent the people, right? And there are so many. They represent the people. We have the president. You get it? We have the judiciary. We have people working with them. So every one of them is duly connected with the people. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
And they are the one making the presidential decisions. because the Senate will make the law and give it to the president to run. The president will use the law. You get it? So they are all connected with the people, because you can't tell me you are making a law on something that you don't know about.
So I cannot help but are you?
No,
okay,
you want to say something?
No, I was going to go back to Chukwuma Okoro. I cannot get out of my head the straight punch that Chukwuma threw that hit Alex Oti. I mean, Alex Oti was not even in the conversation in the first place, but he talked about propaganda, and boom, Alex Oti was hit there. Oh well, still talking about propaganda. What do you think this Nigerians should be demanding for now, if Nigerians are not making proper use or don't really have access to the freedom of information, are not using the freedom of information bill or act, I beg your pardon, to get information on activities of the government and question some of these activities? What other measures do you think Nigerians can use to get answers to questions on the minds of a lot of Nigerians?
You see, Moses, let me, why I went to Abia State is because David did talk about whether the president's
propaganda
people are made propagandists, and I said they don't even know how to do it.
Yeah.
And I told them, I told him somebody
who's doing it well
handlers are very good at that, and because it is working for them. That is the state I come from. Alex Oti is doing perfectly better than the previous administration. But the point is that it is magnified beyond what is feasible. That is just it.
Right.
That is just it. Okay. So now about the Freedom of Information Act, it's just about Nigerians not using it appropriately. It speaks about the disconnect between Nigerians and the government, and the low trust between the governed and the government. You see, Nigerians have come to a point where they tend not to believe anything that the government says. Even when the government has the best of intentions, people say, we don't hear any problems. On top of my head, I've forgotten the name of that. We don't hear any problems. On top of my head, I've forgotten the name of that agency. That complaint is more like have the Public Complaints Commission, but this one is domiciled in every federal government office. When you go there, people don't do anything. The women that are placed there just stay there, discuss. When you bring a problem, they just dismiss you with a wave of hand. So, but I also know that few Nigerians have applied to use the FOI, and they were given. So it's left for Nigerians to do that. So beyond that, what Nigerians need to do is like the protests that we are doing now is a way of engaging our leaders. It's a way of an engagement, between the leaders and the led. And it's not just in Nigeria. You can see that there's a wave of protest going through all parts of the world. That is to tell you that global citizens are trying to push back the frontiers of authoritarianism, to push back the frontiers of autocracy. People no longer tolerate it. So it speaks to the larger political growth, the global concern, about good governance that people express everywhere.
All right then. We must take a break now. I'd like you gentlemen to stay with us, as we'll be back to the conversation in a bit. Stay with us. We'll be back in a bit.
The northern states of Borno. This footage.
Hearing me. God bless Nigeria. with pig and honey. We have everything to survive here in Nigeria. But our selfish government, our selfish governor, they will never allow us to reap the fruit of our labor. Why? I want to ask a question, everybody, please listen to me. Why will a graduate in Nigeria be suffering to get a job? Why? Because of no good job opportunity. I don't understand. Why are we suffering like this? Why are the government being selfish? I don't understand. This is wickedness of human order. Please, arise. Africans, rise. Oh, God damn. Oh, God damn. Oh, God damn. Mr. President Tinubu. Oh, God damn.
Shall you not do something? But then you see security everywhere. And they just say TSS, they find me. TSS, they find woman when not your girl work. Does not show you how useless the country is. TSS is looking for me. Why? Say I say hunger. Say, may go point for Gusu, I say hunger, nothing. Thank you.
School have nothing to show for it. Look at me. I am suffering. Talking about my appearance, I am really suffering. The country is really suffering. Please, I am begging Nigerians out there. Please, let us come together and exhibit our political franchise. It is our right. Our voice is our right. The securities out here have no right to harm us. Do you understand? Because it's our political right. It's our political franchise, whereby we have to come out on the street to tell the governor, the president, what they need to know and what they have to do. Not that they don't know. This suffering is too much. The price.
All right. Conversation is still ongoing here. Welcome back. Let's get to some part of the conversation that's quite interesting. We do understand that the Take It Back movement, well, interestingly, the national coordinator, they put out a statement yesterday stating that there would be what they call a 1 million man protest on Saturday in all 36 states government. That's 30 states of the Federation, rather, beg your pardon. Well, this is more like they are going further to tell Nigerians and even the government that they are not backing down.
But that's supposed to be the climax of the protest.
Oh, yes. Well, from their statement, they believe that gaining momentum from Saturday, they would have to push further from where they are presently are. But then, Barrister, the question now would be, the grand finale of this protest is this Saturday, and like has been stated in a communique passed by the national coordinator, I'm talking about Mr. Sonya Olujuwon, confirming that they would have that mass 1 million man protest. Do you think that with all of this, there would be a significant change going forward as it stands with the government?
I don't think so, because already the account of those, the bank account of these people has been placed on watch list or frozen. And then the people themselves are on watch list according to the federal government. So the government, that will tell you that the government is not even showing any remorse for what they have done to the people. This is an ordinary protest, and I don't see how this will cause a problem for the government. Instead of this government to be showing some empathy, showing some reconciliatory moves, rather they are now blowing hot. If you are now trying to arrest them and, frozen the account, what are you trying to do? To make life harder or for them?
But on the part, sorry to cut you short. On the part of government, the coordinator of the economy, I'm talking about Minister of Finance, Oledu, did make mention that there would be some tax break given to some companies, even though there was no figure of the amount of staff that the company have to have for that tax break to be. But then, don't you see this as another effort to helping alleviate the sufferings of Nigerians?
You are trying to close the barn door when the horse has escaped. Multinational companies have left. They have closed shop already. So which company are you giving tax relief? Go to LCCI website. Go and see how many companies in Lagos that have gone under. Some have relocated to Ghana. So which company are you giving tax relief? It's like they came to the service too late. This is something they would have done, proactive measure. When these companies were crying, you should have come to their aid before they close shop. Now when they have closed shop, you now talk of tax relief. I don't think they are coming back. Just like these people who left ECOWAS. They are not looking back. Whatever you are going to do now, the environment is still harsh. The energy bill is still there. Have you reduced it? Whatever tax relief we are giving them will be taken off by the energy bill. Look at universities now. They are now asking students to pay 80,000 naira for NEPA bill because the university cannot afford it. If this light is there, there's no problem. But the services are not being rendered, yet you are extorting money from people. So you can see that this government, I don't know how they are setting their priority. If you ask me, they are still confused. They don't know what to do. How can 3,000 megawatts of electricity serve 200 million people? Whether you are in band A or band B or band whatever, how can 3,000 serve the whole country? Is it possible?
Okay.
It's not possible. So these are the issues they're supposed to look at. If you are giving them tax relief, how about the fuel, whatever, the transportation cost? All these are very important because these companies are burning a diesel. They are burning energy.
All right,
to fuel their machineries.
Mr. Chukwuma Okoro, looking at the protest, today happens to be the day 8 of the day 9 of the protest, and you're not with us here in Lagos. So what is really happening in your area? Because here in Lagos is more like the momentum have actually dropped. It's like people have been scared back into their various homes. What is really happening as regards the protest in the area where you're staying? As you also tell us what you make of the words of Ralph Mosu, do you think this present administration would even listen to the cry and request of Nigerians? Also, do you think this protest will actually end in 10 days, or are we looking forward to getting an extension of the Nigerian protest on #EndBadGovernance?
Okay, Fina, I'm happy that you are telling me that the protest has more like eased out in Lagos, because it makes me happy because it vindicates me. I said it even before the protest started that it was not going to have any effect. It wasn't going to be intense in Lagos. And the reasons I made known too, because if Lagos doesn't buy into it, which they will not because their son is in power, it is not going to be impactful.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I have to interrupt you at that point because the reason the protest died down as early as it did in Lagos, it wasn't because Lagosians did not buy into it. Residents of Lagos bought into it, but then they were clamped down. Our correspondent was chased around, his devices seized from him by certain individuals. We don't know if we should call them thugs, because, these individuals were seen with police personnel. So one starts to wonder, are they policemen in mufti terrorizing residents of Lagos that came out to protest, or are they thugs? One cannot dissociate one from the other at this point. Now, a lot of Nigerians that gathered at Alausa, the government house there, were chased. Journalists were beaten. And that was why Nigerians Lagosians decided to simmer down a bit. Not because, Lagosians did not buy into it. Just have to put that one out there.
Moses, I think you have just validated my statement. That Lagos didn't buy into it. Whether they were plainclothes policemen or whether they were thugs, there was a clampdown. Authorized by who? By the Lagos state government or the federal government. The same people running the federal government were the people who sponsored the 2011 and the 2014 protests. And there were no clampdowns. So you have simply validated me. In this last protest, there were no influencers. There were no big names. It was just yesterday, from 1st August, that Tunde Bakare made a statement. Where are the Opadukuns? Where are the Clement Nwankwas? The Olisa Bakobas? The Lagos big boys? There were no influencers. So, the people that chased your correspondent or whoever were asked by the influencers, be their government or change agents, to go after those people, make sure that there's no protest in Lagos. Because the moment the thing spikes in Lagos, it will spread to other parts of the country because of the centrality of Lagos in Nigerian economy. So I'm happy you are bringing this out. You just simply validated my assertion.
So you don't think this protest will extend? You don't think there'll be any extension?
Fina, the protest died before it arrived.
So is it only Lagos that don't have what it takes to actually organize a protest for the cries of Nigerians to be heard by the government?
That is what I've been saying because of its centrality.
All right. Mr. Lawal.
What happened in Abuja? What happened in Abuja?
Okay.
You get the point?
Yeah.
So it's just about it. We can, this conversation can go on, and it will be difficult for someone to convince me that if the protest, as Nigeria is presently structured, that if an economic protest doesn't start in Lagos, that it will be impactful.
You didn't tell me how it's happening actually where you're staying. How is the protest where you're staying?
Yes, I was coming to that.
All right.
Where I stay in the southeast.
Okay.
And we've been protesting for the past 5 years or more, asking for this government, this APC government, to be responsive, to be responsible, to be what it promised to be. Every Monday we lock down our shops, lock down businesses, schools and everything, and stay at home and say, please, we want this government to be better. And that is what we did from the 1st of August.
Okay.
All right. Now,
by second third, people started going about their normal business, like Lagosians did.
Okay. Now, Mr. Lawal, quickly, before we wrap up this conversation, as it stands, the protest seems to have simmered down in almost all parts of the country. Most importantly, there is a communique being sent in by the guys who Take It Back movement, who started this whole movement. At this point, do you say that this protest was significant? And going forward, do you think that the government can be more responsive even after this protest is died down?
See, the protest, like he was saying, the protest in Lagos, you get it, actually shook the country. Because on Thursday, when the protest started, I went out. Almost businesses in Lagos were shut down. Yeah. Even aircraft did not fly for many days. Do you know how much government lost over just aircraft? You get it? So the impact was felt across the fact the government felt the heat. Okay. And it went on like that. You get it? Now, that is one for what it is, that it is irresponsible to their, the needs. They don't care about them. Like the Akpabio said that while you are protesting, we'll be there eating. So you are hungry, we are not hungry, we'll sit down, be eating beside you, you'll be looking at us. So you'll be complaining, we will not complain, we'll be eating. From number three man of the nation, saying something like that. So the people saw the government for what it is across. Okay. So it's going to, it's going to reorganize the political thought, the political idea, political, education of the Nigerians, even up to the level of those who are not even educated. Because somebody who is not educated and his brother was killed, shot dead, you get it? Or maybe a father that's not educated and his son was shot dead. You have passed a message to that person that the person who shot him is a bad man. And that is the representative of the government. Okay. So there's going to be a lot of reshaping. And then the people will not have that trust of the government again. Do you know that? Because of this thing that has happened, It has shown clearly to the people. So the protest actually did what it was intended to do.
All right. Talking about
and then to go on.
Right.
And it will go on because now there are people who have tested the government. The next one, if there's a call out for protest, in fact, NSC that said we'll back out of the protest. Some days after, they were even behind the people saying that the government should call them and dialogue with them. So you see a lot of, in fact, you see some APC, shifting, still in APC, coming out to even, go against the government. So you can say a lot of things is really reorganizing itself in this nation.
All right. Okay. Talking about having trust now in the government, Barrister Darlington, we have Honorable Emmanuel Ominri, trying to place more like comparison between Buhari's 8 years in office to that of the present administration, forgetting that it's still APC government that is ruling Nigeria. So he said that Buhari's 8 years was a waste for Nigerians. And he made mention of that, as he also said, he actually happened to be part of the people. He said, I am a member of the Finance Committee in the House of Representatives, so I know what is happening in the system as of today. And he said, even if it is Jesus Christ that came over to take over this particular, to take over from Buhari, that there is no miracle or magic anybody can actually do. Do you also share that line of thought? Do you think we can compare Buhari and Tinubu's administration, even as one was just 1 year and the other 8 years?
In fact, Tinubu inherited a bad economy, but he worsened it. He made it worse by his actions and his policy. So at this point, I am no longer talking of Buhari, I'm talking of Tinubu. Because he said that we should not pity him, that he knows what to do.
Yeah.
That he's going to revive the economy, this and that. So we are looking up to him to do what he said. So if anybody is comparing him with Buhari, that person is now running away from the real problem. Because it was not Buhari that actually removed the subsidy, it was Tinubu. Buhari did not put gun on Tinubu's head and say, you must remove this subsidy or no. Buhari did what he did and left. It is left for you now to look at the economy, look at the situation of the, look at the people and say, come, this action, if I take it, can the people carry it? But you said it because you were looking at some people from the West, IMF and World Bank. So you are the one that brought this problem. So anybody that wants to compare, that person should be looking at you. We don't compare anything for now. Because in the first place, where we are now, I agree, where we are now is like Buhari opened a very big hole. Very big hole. A hole he dug for 8 years and then threw Nigeria inside.
So you're the opinion that Tinubu really means well for Nigerians? Because that is what Emmanuel Omiri said. And remember, he's also part of the PDP, not even APC. No. Now, this is coming from an opposition.
No, his action did not say that he meant well. Oh. There are things where Tinubu have done that tells me that he did not mean well for Nigeria. He's just saying, making political statements.
Okay, Barrister, 2 questions quickly. First one, the man in question, Emmanuel Omiri, Honorable, did make this statement. And as from the position I am, I feel it's an indictment on this person because they are still in power. They are still in the House of Representatives. Why are they not calling the president, the ex-president now, to question him? And then why are they not calling security operatives to look into the financial books of the past 8 years? That's one question. Second question, the president, the current administration, and of course the president in power, had made efforts like asking the NNPCL to sell crude in Naira to local refiners and including Dangote. Isn't that some move that might help the oil and gas sector to even have a bit of breathing space?
The first question, a dog does not eat itself. Dog does not eat itself. You see, when you are committing a crime, you know your partners in crime. So APC knows those who have done what they did under Buhari. And so they cannot call them to order. It will amount to indictment because they too were involved in whatever Buhari did. Are you getting what I'm saying now? So it is impossible. It's like this Emefiele they are dragging up and down. If they allow Emefiele to sing, in fact, heads will roll. That's why they're dragging his mouth up and down. You will see at the end of the day, they will let him go. Because Emefiele never acted on his own. He never acted on his own. It's like this oil industry now that you are talking about. How can you give somebody a goat and you are holding the rope? Why does it have to, I mean, why was it that when Dangote started revealing something that they now said, okay, come, let's settle this in order, we can be giving you crude now. Was it not when Dangote raised alarm and started exposing things? That will tell you that ab initio, they were never ready and they were never sincere in helping that man's refinery because of what they are gaining from it. So they will look for a way to sabotage him along the line. Dangote should not go and rely that they are giving him crude though, because these people, they are not letting go. They will never let go. I'm telling you. How can Dangote come and cut short to their source of income? Didn't you remember that Dangote was supplying diesel for a long time until now said that he want to produce fuel? That was when they rose up and said, no, your refinery is not good though. The sulfur content is too bad. This and that.
Unfortunately, we are pressed for time, and this is where we have to drop anchor on the conversation. But I must, I'd like you, gentlemen, to give us, your closing thoughts. I'll start with you. Barrister.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Now,
30 seconds, please.
Yeah, finally, from what we have discussed so far, it boiled down to bad governance. From the beginning to the end, everything we have discussed and we have been talking about is bad governance. If Tinubu wants to write himself in history book to be remembered for one, let him start and at least take three things you can solve. You see this NNPC and fuel, solve it. Then corruption, fight it. Okay. Even though I might say you are not, but to try and fight it so that if you be in the good book that yes, you do, then the economy. Revive the economy.
All right, then.
So that we remember you
for. Very much, Barrister. Lamal, please.
I would say that if the government wants to, if it means well for this country, and it wants to take a giant leap to solve the problem of this country, it should go to resource control. You make a bill, let the states generate their resources. Everything will normalize. In this
All right,
country.
then. All right. Now, to Chukwuma Okoro, your parting shot as well. Now, as you give your parting shot, I know that you are for the fact that this protest was not needed in the first place, has no impact, has not made any impact, and all of that. But I was going to ask you a question.
It made impact too.
Okay, well.
Tinubu did not sleep well.
Ipman and certain players in the oil and gas sector have said that the queues will continue. The queues around Lagos, Abuja, and some other parts of Nigeria will continue because marketers are afraid to transfer fuel to places because of what happened during NSAS, where they were attacked in places like Enugu and other parts of the country, and government did not compensate them for those fuel tanks that were burnt. So they are not distributing fuel. So the queues will persist up until the protest ends. Is this another way to, make Nigerians? Is this another way to curtail Nigerians from airing their grievances against the government? Well, you can do that with your parting shot in about 10 minutes.
Okay, Moses, I think the Ipman, they are very frank with you. They are not trying to paint words for you to tell you that, that there is no fuel in the depot or whatever. They simply told you that they have fuel, but they can't risk their businesses because the last time they did, the federal government did not recompense. So they are protecting their businesses. It's as simple as that. So probably we'll wait for until the protest dies out. That is it for them. One, I want to start with Kano. In Kano, I don't know, between the members of the APC and NMPP, their supporters who went to loot shops or who went to loot government offices and ICT and the ICT center.
Yes.
It's difficult for me to place a finger on that. So I will tell you that it was hunger, just like every other, that caused the protests in every other place. And it was intense in Kano because the people of Kano, like Jigawa and Kaduna, probably had enough and they were more expressive of their feelings. Two, on Dele Momodu, it will be good for leaders, to allow their subordinates to puncture to interrogate the validity of their assumptions. You know, if you said something and I disagree with you, you should take it in good faith. If you are my leader and I disagree with you, you should take it in good faith. I don't have to come before you, Koto, and say all is well, and I go back and start grumbling. That is a lesson people should learn. 3, about the protest.
Okay, have a minute.
What Nigerians need to do. Nigerians just need to, you know, keep talking to themselves. But if you want to talk about a protest that will be very, very impactful, what Nigerians should do is to use their vote to make that protest in 2027. Because if you talk about a protest that is revolutionary in nature, in the next 4 years, it won't happen. If you try it in the north, you kill yourself, they will ignore you. If you try it in the southwest,
all right, then we must wrap up at this point.
Southeast, if you kill yourself,
all right,
they will ignore you.
Okay. Well, big thanks to you, Chukwuma Okoro, public affairs analyst and a journalist. Thank you for your time and your thoughts.
Thanks for having me, Moses.
All right, big thanks also to Barrister Darlington Agumo. We appreciate you.
Yeah, it's a privilege.
We've also been with Lawale Kudayo, who is a farmer, a public affairs analyst, and an educationist. Thank you very much for your time and your
Nice to be here.
Lawale, next time, come with your farm product.
Okay. You want to buy
no, you give
5,000 naira.
You give us
as my own palliative.
You will give us
we'll take a break now.
You give us freebies now.
we'll take a he's not FG. We'll take a break now, and when we come back, we'll have business, entertainment, and sports coming your way. Stick around.
Can we get to meet you? What's your name?
My name is Udo Wisdom.
Thank you so much. So you are holding this placard, End Attack on Free Press. But before you talk about this placard, why are you here for the protest? I'm
here to end bad government. We not visit down inside and die hunger. Telling us not to come outside and protest. No. What we are asking for is bring down the price of the fuel.
So how was the election? How was the economic crisis? How has it affected you?
Has it affected me in any way? I may be firstborn for my family. Papa don't die. So I have to, my mama in Lagos, my elder brother, sorry, my junior brother, my sister, I'm the one taking care of them. How much am I earning? 30,000 for salary. Okay, I'm working I work day, I work night. Let me say maybe at the end 60,000 naira. I have to take care of myself. Look at my dress. I'm dressing like a madman. Like a madman. My senior brother went to university. After university, he's driving bike in the street now. Where is it for?
So what do you want the government to address?
They should bring down price of, but they know what they're supposed to do. If you don't know his work, you should come down for that place. Please. You should come down for that place. You cannot bring down fuel. If you don't know his work, you should come down for that place. He's a disgrace. Look at the president telling us to come out today and we are coming out. He's a fool. Please, you should come down. If you cannot know, if you don't know what he's doing, if you don't know his work, you should leave the office.
All right, thank you so much. All those opinions are his and has nothing to do with Voice of the People TV.
You were asking what the president should do. It's very easy. We have 22 demand out there. It's all over the social media. It is achievable. If President Bola Ahmed Tinubu during his inauguration in 2023, May 29, when he said that subsidy is gone, nobody called him to order. He never called for a meeting, but he said subsidy is gone. Within an hour, Nigeria was on fire. Every petrol station increased their fuel. And now you're telling me that it's not easy? It is easy. When he said that, when he brought out the student loan, the student loan was not implemented. When all the schools were jacking up their tuition fees. And are you telling me this is not achievable? No, it is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a tyrant. He knows what he's doing. We are calling on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to come out, come and implement all this. It is achievable. It is doable.
Now to business. The Port Harcourt refinery is expected to commence operations this month, delivering between 10 to 12 million litres of petrol daily, according to the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN. Now, the refinery, which has undergone significant maintenance, is set to operate independently of government control and sell petroleum products at market-driven prices to ensure cost recovery. The National Operations Controller of IPMAN, Zama Mustafa, expressed optimism that the August deadline for the refinery's operation would be met, boosting the supply of petroleum products across Nigeria. Despite being an oil-producing country, Nigeria has faced challenges with its state-owned refineries, leading to a heavy reliance on imported petroleum products. The commencement of operations of the Port Harcourt refinery is seen as a critical step towards reducing this dependency. Oh well, there are other news about the Senate, the House of Reps, probing the non-implementation of monies judiciously spent on Port Harcourt refinery. We hear that $1.5 billion was put into the refinery for refurbishment, and most of it cannot be accounted for. Oh well, we'll keep our eyes on that one as well. Well, that's it for business right now. Up next is entertainment.
Thank you for staying with us. It's still VOP this morning on Voice of the People Television. In a surprising turn of event, Chidinma Adeshino, a contestant in the Miss South Africa 2024 beauty pageant, has announced her withdrawal from the competition. And this decision comes amidst a swirling controversy regarding her South African citizenship, which has been under investigation by the Department of Home Affairs. The controversy began when questions arose about Adeshino's nationality. The Department of Home Affairs launched an investigation into her citizenship status following allegation that her mother may have committed fraud and identity theft. Despite the allegations, the Department of Home Affairs clarified that Adeshino herself could not have participated in any unlawful action as she was an infant when the alleged fraud took place. Nevertheless, the ongoing investigation and the public scrutiny has attracted levels of so many things that led to Adeshino stepping down from the competition. That shows that the black man actually is still against the black man, because that was actually a tag that was on this particular story about Chidinma. She was a girl that wanted to contest for Miss South Africa in South Africa, but immediately her name actually was mentioned. A lot of people come up to say that she cannot, she's a Nigerian, and when they actually check her origin, they found out that she's not just a Nigerian, but also from another part of Africa country. And immediately, a crackdown began on her case. She cannot contest. She's not a South African, and she actually has South African, what's it called again, passport. She is an indigenous of South Africa. She was born and bred there. So why would she participate? But anyway, I'll leave you with that particular story. Think about that. Is Africa really underdeveloping Africa? People will actually look at. But that'll be by 1 p.m. when you join the Spotlight, the entertainment show proper. Up next is the sports. Stay with us.
Audio Jungle.
All right, welcome back. Let's talk some sports. Well, the African football community is mourning the loss of Issa Hayatou, the former president of the Confederation of African Football, CAF. Well, he passed away on Thursday in Paris. Hayatou, born in Garoua, Cameroon on August the 9th, 1946, was a towering figure in African football. Served as CAF president from 1988 to 2017. His leadership saw the expansion of the African Cup of Nations, increased African presence at the FIFA World Cup, and the strengthening of football infrastructure across the continent. Hayatou also briefly served as interim FIFA president from 2015 to 2016, guiding the organization through a challenging period. Tributes have poured in from around the world, recognizing his pivotal role in elevating African football to the global stage that it is. His passing marks the end of an era, but his legacy will continue to inspire the sports future on the continent. Well, interestingly as well, Adekuroye is also in the news. Well, you know very well that Adekuroye, the Nigerian athletes in wrestling at the ongoing Paris Olympics, did fall short of that victory in the quarterfinals. But all of these you get from us as we move into the sports program, particularly by 11 a.m. West African time. And that's on the program Sports Republic. Well, that's about it from me on a beautiful week. Like, of course, you've been with us all through the week, so we say thank you. As we go, we only would say, do have a beautiful weekend ahead. God bless Nigeria.
All right, from Pina Okichuku, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and just know that on top of the hour at 9 a.m. is the news update on Voice of the People TV. Stay with us.
And I'm Moses Humphrey, wishing you a lovely weekend. Bye for now.